Quinn engages in a fierce battle with Riley, but struggles to land a hit. Will he be able to find a weakness in his opponent's defenses? Can he continue to resist the temptation of human blood? Or will his hunger eventually consume him? How long can he keep his secret hidden? And what will happen when someone finally discovers the truth?
Riley hardened his face and was ready to laugh at his attacker once again, ending up hurting himself. But at the last second, Quinn changed his punch into a kick, aimed at the boy's unprotected stomach. It worked, Quinn thought as the other bent over in pain. With one last fast, swift attack to the back of his head, the red-haired boy got knocked out. Second fight has been completed. 50 EXP received. Additional reward 20 EXP received. 100 of 100 EXP. You have reached the maximum amount of EXP. Would you like to level up? Once you have leveled up, any changes will be irreversible. Not heeding the warning, Quinn shouted out, "Who cares? Yes!" Congratulations, you are now level 2. Evolution process has started. Evolution? What the? His euphoria from a moment ago had instantly vanished, replaced with a large stabbing pain in his heart. The organ started to beat faster than it had ever done before, the blood rushing through his veins all over his body. The excruciating pain was too much for him. Falling on his knees, he tried his best to refrain from screaming, afraid he might alarm someone. The pain continued to spread throughout his body. He was so focused on that feeling that he failed to notice that his broken hand was healing alongside his leg, his full attention on the sharp stabbing pain, now in his teeth. Congratulations, you have successfully evolved. You are now a halfling. He had never heard of the term halfling before, and apparently the process was irreversible. Before he could spend any more time on it, even more messages appeared. Your stats have increased. Skill unlocked. Level 1, Blood Swipe. Blood Swipe. The skill has a range of 5 meters. It will fire out a red line of energy from the user's hands. To use the skill, the user must use their own blood, causing -1 HP per blood swipe. He had no time to check his new stats, as yet another message showed itself, this one bolder than the previous ones. It drove Quinn into a state of shock. Your hunger grows. You can no longer suppress your need for blood. Your HP will decrease by -1 HP every hour until you have consumed human blood. Have I become a vampire? He mumbled to himself. The truth had been staring him in the face long enough. All the signs had been there. The book about vampires granting him EXP, growing weaker when hit by sunlight, the constant hunger, the clear night vision, and the way the blood of his first victim had been enticing him to consume it. Quinn was not sure he could do what the system was demanding of him. There was this moral binding, his last shred of humanity that held him back from completely turning into a beast. He stood there looking down at Riley, who had passed out on the ground. It was the perfect opportunity for him to do as the system demanded. Something was drawing him to Riley's body. He could smell his victim's blood. He could hear the beating heart. Without realizing it, he bent towards Riley and could see his pulse beating through his neck. You have received an optional quest. Drink the blood of your victim to absorb a stat point. There were many questions on Quinn's mind, questions he was unsure about and had no answers. How much blood was he supposed to consume? Would Riley die if he did this? Would he perhaps turn and become another vampire like him? Layla had continued to watch Quinn ever since he had left the convenience store. When she had seen him follow after Riley and donning the mask, she had understood what he was about to do. She saw Quinn lift Riley's body slightly off the floor while kneeling beside the unconscious boy. Yet the gaze he was looking at him was very strange. It wasn't the gloating type of look of a winner over a loser. What the? Layla wondered. He can't be planning to kiss him. What is wrong with this guy? The next moment, Quinn placed the unconscious body back down. Unable to come to a decision, his mind continued to go back and forth. Damn it! In the movies it looks so easy. Just the idea of sticking my teeth into someone. I just can't do it. Layla started to slowly creep about closer through the bushes and trees. Then suddenly, her foot had landed on a small twig, and a snapping sound was heard. What was that? Quinn thought as he turned and looked around, but could see no one. However, in a panic that someone was coming his way and would find him, he left the body where it was and headed back to school. I wonder what that was all about. In the end, he didn't do anything. Layla was curious what the point of him at the end had been. Quinn hurried head back to school and placed the mask into his shopping bag. Quinn then decided to open his status screen to see if his stats had changed after evolving. From what he could see, merely his HP had increased by 50%, while everything else had remained the same. Quinn thought about it for a while and decided to add a point to his agility. Agility 11. What he wanted right now was to become fast and agile like an assassin. Quinn wondered if there was a reason why the system had only given him 1 point, but then he recalled the optional quests it had offered him. So far, Quinn would have been able to gain an additional 2 stat points, whereas leveling up only granted a single one. If he wanted to get stronger fast, then that would be the quickest way. However, Quinn was unsure of whether or not he would be able to go through with it. Quinn decided to head to his room where he could hear Vorden and Peter practicing together. Peter was trying his best to learn the ability book the military had given him, while Vorden was tutoring him. "What took you so long?" "I just went exploring the city a little. I'm a bit tired, so I think I'm going to bed early today." "Maybe we should call it a day for now as well?" Although Quinn had been the one to suggest going to sleep, he was unable to. His stomach was in a tremendous amount of pain, and he had too much on his mind. If what the message had claimed would be true, Quinn only had a limited amount of time to solve his problem. When he woke up the next day, the pain was worse than before. 10 hours have passed. Your hunger grows. You have lost -10 HP. HP 5 of 15. Your HP will continue to decrease every hour. "Hey, Quinn, you all right, man?" Vorden asked, seeing Quinn's face. "Yeah, I just got to go somewhere." Quinn excused himself as he rushed out of the room, heading down to the canteen. Everything that had happened so far had been a miscalculation on Quinn's part. Although the system had warned him about his 1 HP loss every hour, he hadn't expected his body to react like that. In fact, he had only planned to sleep for 5 hours. That way he would have nearly half a day to come up with a plan how to rid himself of his problem, ideally before morning classes started. Quinn made his way to the canteen queue to be served some food. He was taking in deep breaths, slowly, an action that was supposed to help him get the hang of his heightened senses. Right now, he was able to hear the conversation from the other side of the room, pots and pans clanging in the kitchen as if they were next to him. Slowly, Quinn was figuring out how to ignore all those sounds, clearing his mind. Just then, Riley entered the canteen. Surprisingly, he had no bruises on his body from yesterday's fight. The only possibility was that he had made a full recovery at the medical center. Nevertheless, he looked like he was in a terrible mood after that experience. Ironically, as soon as he saw Quinn, he decided to have found the perfect target to take out all his pent-up frustration on. "Hey, Pipsqueak, you got a problem if I cut in front of you?" However, Quinn was too busy trying to isolate the sounds from his mind to pay attention to him. "Who the hell do you think you are?" Riley shouted as he grabbed Quinn by the collar. In that instant, Riley's face was incredibly close to his. Just like yesterday, he could hear Riley's heartbeat. He could feel the blood flowing through his arm and muscles lifting his shirt. Something took over Quinn's body, and he immediately hit Riley's arm away and pounced on him, causing the two of them to fall to the ground. Quinn was now on top of Riley and had both his hands pinned down. "Get off me, you crazy animal!" Riley screamed, but when Riley tried to overpower Quinn and lift his hands, it was impossible. His ability to harden his skin was useless in this kind of situation. Then, Quinn started to feel something growing in his mouth. Quinn placed his head just a few inches away from Riley's neck and got ready to bite in. Just as he opened his mouth, though, he felt someone pull him by the back of his collar and chucked him off Riley towards the people in the queue. "Don't touch one of my boys!" Dan was a large teenager with a muscular build. His appearance was more like that of a bald adult. As soon as Dan took one step forward, though, Vorden stepped in front of Quinn with Peter. "Do you really want to cause a problem?" Vorden asked, lifting his arm to show the power level of his wristwatch. In reality, Vorden was only bluffing. Vorden's power very much depended on what ability he copied, and right now all he had access to was Peter's level 1 Earth ability. If they were to get into a fight here, there was no contest on who would win. Fortunately, Vorden's plan succeeded, as Dan decided to back down after seeing the number 5, taking Riley with him. After the canteen incident was over, something became clear to Quinn. The teachers wouldn't step in no matter what happened. He could do was try to calm himself down while in the middle of class and watch his HP slowly tick away. What the hell is happening to me? Quinn was worried. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. Each time Quinn's HP went down, It was getting harder and harder to control his own body. Quinn eventually ended up in the library. "Please have something I can use," Quinn prayed as he took out fantasy book after fantasy book about vampires. He sat on the floor and read one last book and found nothing of use. When he closed the book, he could see Layla standing there opposite him. "Are you okay?" Layla bent down so she was at eye level with him and placed her hand on his forehead to check his temperature. "Do you want me to take you to the nurse's office?" Quinn hadn't heard a single word she had said. Her neck had been too mesmerizing. The urge was uncontrollable. Sighing, he pulled Layla by the arm, bringing her close to him. A weak sorry escaped his lips as he bit into her neck. His teeth quickly sunk into Layla's skin, and at the same time a gush of blood entered Quinn's mouth. Surprisingly, Layla didn't feel any pain from this. Even if she wanted to resist, she couldn't. The bite seemed to have a paralysis effect. Finally, Quinn's hunger was dissipating. "Your hunger has decreased. Your hunger has decreased. You will no longer lose HP." Even though the messages appeared one after the other, Quinn continued to suck Layla's blood away. "HP regenerating. HP regenerating. 15 of 15 HP. Immediately he let go of Layla, causing her body to fall to the ground. "What the—" Quinn wondered aloud, unsure where he was. "Did I do that?" "A positive blood type has been absorbed. You have gained 1 strength." Thankfully, Quinn could hear Layla breathing, so he at least wouldn't have to worry about accidentally having sucked her dry. Unfortunately, there were 2 clear bite marks on her neck that needed to be dealt with. He then lifted Layla up with his 2 hands. To his surprise, discovered she was lighter than he had imagined. Not wasting any time, he headed to the doctor's office, all the while going over what had just happened. Would Layla remember anything when she got up, or would Quinn have to convince her to keep it a secret? If others were to find out of his rare ability, it would start a bidding war between the private companies and the military. They would do anything to get their hand on such a new type of ability. Before anyone could find out about Quinn, he had to become strong enough to protect himself. While Quinn walked down the hallway, he got quite a few looks from the other students. It wasn't strange to see someone carry an injured person in the school, but it was strange for a boy to carry a girl unless they were an item. After enduring all those strange looks, Quinn finally reached the infirmary. Inside there was a single female doctor named Haley. "There's a free bed there. If you could leave her there, I will get to her as soon as I can." Haley came over to where Quinn and Layla were and started to examine Layla. "What happened? I was in the library when I saw her on the ground like that. Classes ended not too long ago, so it can't have been too long since she passed out, yet the wound on her neck looks like it's already healing on its own. Is it okay if I wait here for her?" "Oh, young kids these days. She's lucky to have someone as caring as you by her side." No. We're just friends, that's all." After Haley had gone away to look after other students, Quinn decided to open up his status screen. Strength, 11. Agility, 11. Stamina, 10. So it really did give me an extra stat point after all. Quinn was theoretically able to drink anyone's blood to gain stat points. However, what would happen if he drank Layla's blood again? Quinn looked around the room and Haley appeared to be busy dealing with another student. He carefully took the syringe and hid it behind his back, and then quickly scooted over to where Layla was once more. "I'm really sorry about this, Layla," Quinn apologized to the girl, "but you're going to have to be my guinea pig." He carefully searched for the right spot, and just when he was ready to extract some blood, he heard someone crash into the room. "Quinn, thank God you're here! Quick, I've been looking everywhere for you! It's Vorden, he's in trouble!" "All right, come on, let's hurry." When the 2 of them entered the assembly hall, there were already multiple students there mumbling about a commotion. "Did you see what happened?" "Yeah, that guy's a monster. How could he do that?" "Luckily, the second-year students were here to stop him." The assembly hall was completely trashed. Craters and rubble had formed on parts of the walls and ground. Burn marks and other things were there as well, and there was even blood. "What happened here? I don't know. Me and Vorden were busy messing around, practicing my Earth ability together. That's when a bunch of second years I'd never seen before came up to us asking for Vorden. Vorden told me not to worry, but of course I'm so worried, so I followed them. That's when I saw them take him to the assembly hall, but 2 of the students stood guard and wouldn't let me come inside. I didn't know what to do, so that's when I came looking for you." The smell of iron in the room was thicker than anything else to Quinn, and it led him to an area where dried-up blood could be seen on the floor. "Inspect. Name, Vorden Blade. Race, human. Blood type, O negative. Quinn started to inspect the battle scene and found more traces of blood, but when he used the inspect skill on them, it wouldn't show him any information at all. The two of them then headed back to the dorm room together, and when they entered, they were surprised to actually see Vorden already there. Just by looking at him, Quinn and Peter could tell he had been in a rough fight. "Vorden, what happened? Is everything all right?" "Yeah, just leave me be. I'll be fine. If you stay near me, you will just get hurt anyway." "Look at you! You have to go to the doctor's office! Come on, let's go!" "Just leave me alone, please." "Quinn, come on, say something! He needs to go to the doctor's office, right?" But as Peter turned around to seek support from Quinn, Quinn was nowhere to be seen. "Even he thinks I'm a monster." Just outside the dorm room, Quinn was leaning up against the door, panting hard and sweating. Although he had no reaction when looking at people anymore, it was different when he saw Vorden. Vorden still had fresh cut marks all over his body, and the smell coming off him was strong. Suddenly, Quinn felt like he had a craving for a little bit of blood. Whatever problems Vorden were dealing with now would just have to wait. Layla slowly started to open her eyes. As Layla looked around the room, she started to rub her neck, and at the same time, images had flashed through her head of what had happened at the library. She remembered everything.
What secret is Vorden hiding? And how will it impact Quinn's life? Can Layla be trusted? Find out in the next episode.
Subscribe to the Pocket FM Fantasy YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notifications. Check out our channel for more exciting shows.